Okay. All right. I will now call forth a representative of the Credentials Committee to come forth and read us the credentials report.
Okay, from Precinct 1, excuse me, allotted 44 delegates, 7 were elected, and 5 are present, for a total strength of 5. Precinct 2, 25 allotted, 3 were elected, and 0 are present, for a strength of 0. Precinct 3, 20 allotted, 6 were elected, 4 are here today, for a total of 4. Precinct 4, 10 were allotted, 0 were elected, and obviously 0 are here. Precinct 5, 16 allotted, 8 elected, and 6 are present. Precinct 6, 45 allotted, 8 were elected, 3 are present, for a strength of 3. Precinct 7, 38 were allotted, 6 were elected, 5 are present, total strength 5. Precinct 8, 50 allotted, 11 elected, 3 are present, with strength of 3. Precinct 9, 19 allotted, 3 elected, 3 present, strength of 3. Precinct 10, 21 allotted, 2 elected, 1 present, strength of 1. Precinct 11, 31 allotted, 6 elected, 4 present, for strength of 4. Precinct 12, 26 allotted, 3 elected, 2 present, for a strength of 2. Precinct 13, 24 allotted, 4 elected, 3 present, for a strength of 3. Precinct 14, 34 allotted, 3 elected, 2 present, for a strength of 2. Precinct 15, 16 allotted, 2 elected, 2 present, for a strength of 2. Precinct 16, 7 allotted, 2 elected, 2 present, for the strength of 2. Precinct 17, 7 allotted, 2 elected, 0 present, for a strength of 0. Precinct 18, 101 allotted, 29 elected, 21 present, for a strength of 21. Precinct 19, 23 allotted, 4 elected, 3 present, for a strength of 3. Precinct 20, 19 allotted, 13 elected, 11 present, for a strength of 11. Precinct 21, 44 allotted, 8 elected, 3 present, for a strength of 3. Precinct 22, 36 allotted, 13 elected, 9 present, for a strength of 9. Precinct 23, 42 allotted, 6 elected, 4 present, for a strength of 4. Precinct 24, 4 allotted, 0 elected, 0 present. Precinct 25, 21 allotted, 12 elected, 10 present, for a strength of 10. Precinct 26, 52 allotted, 11 elected, 6 present, for a strength of 6. Precinct 27, 18 allotted, 6 elected, 3 present, for a strength of 3. Precinct 28, 35 allotted, 6 elected, 6 present, for a strength of 6. Total voting strength of 121. There are no alternates, and 61 would be a majority.
All right. Let's give the credentials crew a round of applause. Okay, I will entertain a motion to accept the preliminary report of the Credentials Committee. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt the Credentials Committee report.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? One nay. Was that a nay?
No.
That was not a nay on the no. A no on the nay. Okay. So, it's unanimous. Then, right? Okay. So the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Given that there are no alternates, I would suggest that we move forward with the agenda. Since that was a vote on the preliminary credentials report, let's now do the final credentials report unless anyone has objection. It'll be the same report, but like I said, we did preliminary, but normally we would recess now to set any alternates. But since we don't have any alternates, we'll move on to accepting the final report.
I make a motion, we accept the final report.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of accepting the final report of the Credentials Committee, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay? Is that a nay? Okay. There was a cry over there. Okay, in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. So we have now adopted the Credentials Committee report. With the adoption of the Credentials Committee report, we can now proceed to voting on the items that were placed in your chair. One of them is the convention agenda, and the other one is the convention rules. The first item up for consideration is the vote to adopt the convention agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented with the amendment that items 21 and 22 be moved up to follow number 15. And that specifically is the rules, the reading of the rules committee and the adoption of the county rules. And the purpose of this would be because the county rules have been prepared that would expand the executive committee to allow us to elect executive officers reflected in the new rules that will do so today. So I would make a motion that we adopt the agenda with that amendment to move 21 and 22 up to number 16. Second.
Hang on. So we have a motion to move the items 21 and 22, 21 being reading of the report of the Rules Committee, and 22 receiving and adopting the report of the Rules Committee to be before item number 15, which is...
No, before item 16.
Oh, I'm sorry, item 16, thank you for the correction. Item 16, which states reading of the report of the nominating committee. So basically the rules will be set up prior to the nominating committee bringing its report. I see a finger going up.
Quick question.
Hold on.
I'm getting a report that they're unable to hear the floor mic.
Which-
Oh,
the floor mic, yeah, it's probably not on.
It's not on.
That might be why. Don't want the batteries running for 3 or 4 hours. They're probably so.
Hello?
There you go. All right. So we have a motion to move items 21 and 22 to prior to item number 16 on the agenda. Are there any more discussion or amendments to this?
Call the question.
Yeah, I know. So I'm trying to make sure there's nothing else to add. Okay. All right. We will vote on the amendment. This is just for the amendment. So all those in favor of accepting the amendment that has been proposed that will move those items up, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The agenda is amended. All right. Yes, now we go on the convention rules. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. See, this is why I have her. She keeps me straight. Yes, now we actually vote on accepting the convention agenda
Move we adopt the full agenda, Mr. Chairman. Second.
with the amendment.
With the amendment.
There you go, as amended.
As amended.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting the amended convention agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. All right, so now we move on to the convention rules. There's a copy of the convention rules. That's the rules kind of governing what we're here doing today. Is there any discussion of these at the moment? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, this is a good set of convention rules, I might add. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt these rules with the amendment that item 7.3, which says no nominating or seconding speeches will be allowed, this is a point of personal privilege. There's likely to be a young man nominated today that is very close to my heart, and I'd like the opportunity to have 30 seconds to speak in support of him.
Okay,
So
let
I'd
me
like
ask
to
you, was
amend
that
it.
number 3?
That is, well, 7.3, it says no nominating or seconding speech will be allowed. I'd like to amend it to remove that, and then at the discretion of the chair, those seconding speeches might be allowed.
I'm reading number 3. It says, if I...
7.
Bullet point 3, each nomination shall require a second. No nominating or seconding of speeches will be allowed. Is that what?
And I would just strike that sentence.
Strike the sentence. Or strike the bullet.
No, just
Just
the
the second
second part.
sentence.
Yes.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to strike the second sentence on 7, I guess, bullet point 3, that says no nominating or seconding speeches will be allowed. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of striking that sentence, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay? We got some nays. Okay. All right. We got, duly noted. In the opinion of the chairs, the ayes have it. So now we will move on to adopting. No, you said adopt the rules with that one proviso, right? Okay. So we have now adopted the rules, the convention rules. Now we move on to the election of a convention chair and convention secretary. I will entertain nominations for convention chair first.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to nominate David Stover to be permanent convention chairman.
David Stover for permanent convention chair. Is there any more nominations for convention chair?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Joe Beeman as convention chair.
Joe Beeman has been nominated for convention chair. Okay, now we'll entertain or any more nominations for convention chair at this point.
Move to close nomination. Second.
Okay. Well, the thing is, we got to do convention chair and secretary, so let's do both together. How about that? No, you can't. Okay, one at a time. I'm told that I'm wrong. So we'll move on. All right. So we have two nominations for the convention chair: David Stover and Joe Beeman. All those in favor of David Stover, say aye. Aye. Okay. All those for Joe Beeman, say aye. Aye. In the opinion of the chair, David Stover is the convention chair.
Don't fall.
Now, where are you, David? Okay. It's your baby now. You get to do convention secretary as well. Yeah.
Jan, no YouTube videos. Okay, up next on the agenda is the election of the convention secretary. Do I have any nominations for the convention secretary?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate my friend Linda Mink to be convention secretary, please. And just as a point of order or point of information, the convention chairman, as most folks will know, some may not, does not have to be a delegate. We could elect Lynn Westmoreland to be our convention chairman, and neither does the secretary. And so while Ms. Mink was not, through a technical error, elected as a delegate, she's a longstanding member of our party and our group, and she can serve, eligible to serve, and I proudly nominate her as convention secretary. Second.
Do I have any further nominations?
Move to close nominations.
I have a motion and a second. All right, all in favor of Linda Mink for convention secretary, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
This time we have to close nominations first. And then elect.
Okay, you're right. I apologize.
It's yours, Linda.
Vote to close nominations. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, they're closed. All in favor of Linda Mink, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Okay. Linda, please step up here to the,
Let's just do this.
Careful.
Let's just do that. I just want to make one comment.
Sure.
Even though the convention chair and the convention secretary, I just want you guys to know, you have to sign all of the paperwork at the
Yes.
end of this and fill out all the paperwork. But it is up to me, who started the convention, to make sure that process is completed and delivered.
according to Alton Russell, it is up to the convention chair and the convention secretary. I received his email this morning.
Okay, fine enough. We'll go with that. If he's okay with that, I defer to the third district chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, first point of order, or first point of business. Bear with me just a moment while I get everything straight on the desk here. Okay, we had to appoint the parliamentarian at this time, and I will keep Miss Sally Davison here if that's okay with her. That would be great. Okay, first point of business. I'm going to rearrange some things. All right, we have the convention officers and committees at this time. I'm going to strike all the committees as they stand, and we're going to replace them as follows. Assistant Secretary, the committees, Sergeant at Arms, Lee Norman, Chair, Homer Allen, Doug Anderson, George Buchan, Ben Parsons and Buddy Wolf. Credentials Committee, Deborah Kemp, Chair, Brian Cockrum and Stan Martin. Rules Committee will be Kathy Stover, Chair, with Mike Owens and John Stevenson. Nominating Committee will be Krista Frost as Chair, with Pat Mike and Chris Owen. And Resolutions will be Jim Kemp as Chair, with Shelby Peterson, Nancy Olson, and Rodney Robinson.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. The credentials and registration committees are already closed. They cannot be reopened.
That's fine. So let's try the credentials. Okay. I don't have registration. The resolutions. There's the resolutions, not the registration.
Mr. Chairman, I'm proud to say that by unanimous vote, the new rules have passed. If anybody does not have a copy of it, please let us know.
Do we have a motion on accepting the rules as presented?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any debate? Do we have a call to question?
Call the question.
Do we have a call to question? All right. The question is on the adoption of the rules as presented by the Rules Committee. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the rules are passed as presented. All right, up next is nominations, and I want to be clear here. We are not here to railroad anyone. This is an open meeting. This is a Republican convention, not a Democrat convention. We are here to make sure that everyone has their say. So upon the reading of the nominations, we will open the floor to debate and to other nominations. We are not going to shut anyone down. That's not how we run this party.
I nominate Patty.
Krista Frost, would you please come up and read your nominations?
The committee has recommended that these people be nominated for these positions. For county chair, Grant Frost, 5. First vice chair, Luke Large. Second vice chair, Linda Mink. Vice chair for governmental relations, Chris Vast Owen. Vice Chair for Operations, Krista Frost. Vice Chair for Communications, Kathy Stover. Vice Chair for Finance, Jim Camp. Vice Chair for Membership, Rodney Robinson. Secretary Helen Sherman. Assistant Secretary Shelby Barker.
Can you speak up?
Can't hear? Okay. County Chair Brant Fost. First Vice Chair Luke Large. Second Vice Chair Linda Mink. Vice Chair for Governmental Relations Chris Fast Owen. Vice Chair for Operations Krista Frost. Vice Chair for Communications Kathy Stover. Vice Chair for Finance Jim Camp. Vice Chair for Membership Rodney Robinson. Secretary Helen Sherman. Assistant Secretary Shelby Barker. Treasurer Brian Cochran. Assistant Treasurer Stan Martin. And District Committee Member Keith Tompkins.
All right, we're going to now open nominations for county chair.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we elect our delegates, we elect our officers by slate, and that if there are any other nominations from the floor, that would be wonderful, but that they just, substitute them and have their second or third slate. It'll save an hour of time, and I don't think there's a lot of controversy, so I'd make a motion that we adopt by slate today. We vote to elect our officers by slate today.
We have a motion to elect the officers by slate. Just a moment.
Could you ask Grant to approach the blanks of the entire congregation?
Thank you, Steve. I would just make a motion that we elect our officers today by slate in the interest of time, and that we be very open to any other nominations, but they be in slate form. And just as a point of information for anybody that wants to make another nomination, it's simple. You just take the slate that's been presented and delete the one that you want deleted and add the one that you want inserted, so you don't have to come up with 10 new names if you don't want to. So, but I would make a motion that we elect our executive officers today by slate.
We have a motion on the floor to elect the officers by slate. Do we have a second? Okay, we're calling. Bear with us for just a moment while we look through the rules. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to nominate by slate. The question has been called.
No discussion.
I can't change it according to Robert's Rules of Order. That's why we paused and allowed the
After a
floor to
second,
be.
there is discussion.
He called the question.
You withdraw your call?
Would you withdraw your call so that they can discuss? Okay, we have a withdrawal from the call the question. All right, now, the floor is open for discussion.
Go, Joe.
No, I have a nomination. I'm waiting on all this
Oh,
to
okay.
settle down.
Joe's waiting for a nomination. Is there any discussion regarding nominations by slate, electing by slate? Again, we're going to make sure this is fair and everyone has their say. Does anyone have any say about this? Does anyone want to say anything?
Call the question.
There's been no slate presented to us. There's just been the nominations from the committee. So how can we have an election by slate?
That is the slate.
Right now, what's on the question on the floor is whether we will go by slate, or will nominate by slate, or nominate individually.
I guess I'm arguing that we should not elect by slate because there's been no slate presented.
The nomination.
The question right now is that, are we going to elect by slate or not by slate? And the slate can be presented at that point.
Question, Mr. Chairman, could you
Yes.
clarify to everyone here what the rules are now, aside from the presentation of nominating by slate? The existing rules say to nominate by what manner?
It does not specify. It says the nominee or nominees. It does not specify one or the other. It's got nominee or nominees specified in here.
Discretion of the convention.
It is at the discretion of the
Then
convention.
proceed, whatever makes you feel good.
Well, I have opened the floor for debate, and you guys are more than welcome to come up here and speak. I'm not shutting anything down, so this is not about me. This is up to you guys. So if you guys do not want to do this by slate, you get to vote no.
Hearing no discussion, Mr. Chairman, I'd call the question.
The question has been called. All those in favor of electing the county committee, or the executive committee, excuse me, by slate, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Okay. I recognize Chairman Joe Beaman.
Thank you. I wish to amend the slate. I wish to substitute, keep the slate as is, but make one substitution. I wish to put forward Larry Prather for treasurer, position of treasurer.
Do we have any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, is slate A been, if not, if it hasn't been put into nomination, I'd like to,
Nominating committee has made their.
okay.
specific
It
nomination.
moves the slate into nomination. It does require a second, but will not, nominations do not
Actually, we
require.
have to accept the report, which does not, of the nominating committee, does not mean that we accept that slate, but we have to accept their report.
That's correct.
Make a motion to accept the report. A second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the report. All those in favor of accepting the report as presented, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, we've accepted the report. We have one substitute on a secondary slate.
We have two slates.
Right, we have two slates. So on the secondary slate, we would substitute Larry Prather as treasurer in place of, I don't have the list of the people nominated. Brian Cochran. Are there any other nominations from anyone on the floor?
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Microphone's
just to say that in encouraging y'all to support Slate A and Brian Cochran, I know Larry's a good man, but I also know Brian, and Brian's a fine young man, and he wants to serve. He's got a background in this business, and I would urge you friendly and strongly to please support Brian. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the convention's indulgence.
Absolutely.
I also.
Matters are going on.
Speak up. Okay, I'll just shout. I want to speak on behalf of Larry Prather. He has been an excellent treasurer. He has done a fine job. His background is also in the financial area. He is the CFO of a company, so I think he knows a thing or two about money. So therefore, I want to strongly encourage everyone to please vote for Slate B. Thank you.
Will the nominating committee please hand me a copy of the slate? Yes. The board is yours.
I would also like to support,
Use the mic, please.
it doesn't work.
Here you go. Just take it.
I would,
There you go.
sorry. I would also like to support Mr. Prather, only because I've been around for a long time, and I don't see any consistency from the group that's leaving and this group. So if we had one person that was carried over, it seems like there might be a little bit of a flow. Oh,
I'm carried over. I'm first vice.
you are. I'm sorry, Brett. You are, but the position's different. So anyway, that's still, I'm still going to stick with it, except for Brett. Thank you.
I move to close nominations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close nominations. All those- Would you like to call the question? The mic's good.
Rodney calls the question.
Motion and a second. The question has been called. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mic death killed me. Okay. All those in favor of closing nominations, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Okay, we're going to open up the floor to allow anyone to speak to the nominations as they stand.
Well, friends, I just want to tell you, I'm Brant Frost. Today is particularly poignant for me. I'm standing in support of nominating my son, Brant, who served for many years, in 10 years, 11 years now. He was door to door with Sonny Perdue's first election in 2002. But it's particularly poignant for me because 22 years ago today, in this very room, I nominated his grandfather to be chairman of our party. One of the finest men I ever knew, Lyle Shower. And he's gone home to be with the Lord. He was a great man and a great mentor to me. And his grandson was 10 months old and curly-headed, and we pat him on the head. He's now 22 and 6'4", and I look up to him when I speak to him. But I would appreciate your support for this slate A, and who I believe is a fine young man who's assembled a great team of executive officers who I think are going to make you proud. So I would strongly encourage you to support slate A. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Call the question.
Okay, the question has been called. All right. We're going to now vote for Slate A. For or against. Slate A consists of Brent, 5, County Chair. Luke Large, First Vice Chair. Linda Mink, Second Vice Chair. Chris Vast Owen, Vice Chair for Governmental Relations, Krista Frost, Vice Chair for Operations, Kathy Stover, Vice Chair Communications, Jim Camp, Vice Chair for Finance, Rodney Robinson, Vice Chair for Membership, Helen Sherman, Secretary, Shelby Barker, Assistant Secretary, Treasurer Brian Cockrum, Assistant Treasurer Stan Martin. All those in favor of Slate A, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Don't we need to vote for Slate A or Slate B?
We just said Slate A, that was overwhelming. There's more than 2/3. I'm pretty sure. Slate A has been elected. Okay, next we need the report from the nominations committee for state and district delegates.
We get 54 delegates to the district convention, and these are the delegates. Excuse me, then we'll read the alternates. Delegates are Benjamin Parson, Deborah Camp, Brian Cockrum, Linda Mink, Keith Tompkins, Barbara Green, Chris Owen, David Stover, Christopher Pettigrew, Agnes Midas, Brant Frost V, Janice Faircloth, Lee Norman, Ray Graffis, Lauren Carrico, James Camp, Catherine Stover, Luke Large, Rodney Robinson, Catherine Frost, Chelsea Sherman, Shelby Peterson, Ed Stone, Andrew Feckroy, Jan Horn, Michael Midas, excuse me just a minute. Yeah, we have Roy Graffis. I want to make sure. Brian Graffis, Helen Sherman, Krista Frost, Dustin Carrico, Tracy Crane, Gene Keller, William Wolf, Kimberly Hanna, Hank Ashmore, Brant Frost IV, Mike Crane, Glenn Marshall, Janae Torres, Laura Lee Newsom, Ronald Reeves, Sammy Reeves, Michael Owens, Isabel Torres, Jan Martin, Georgia Hunter, Pam Frazier, Russell Bradley, Stan Martin, Shelby Barker, Nancy Olson, Robin Stewart, Mike Madlam, and Mark Stewart. Alternates to the district: Annette Jansen, John Stevenson, Peter Jansen, Joe Beeman, Charlotte Stevenson, Joe Cannon, Roger Fuller, Anita Headley, Emma Hinesley, Irene Husak, I believe is correct, William Headley, Angela Moore, Larry Prather, Noel Whitwood, Sharon Norman, Judy Whitwood, Donna Prather, William Shelnut, Corey Peterson, Shelby Pettigrew, Carl Green, and Daryl Marmon.
You've just heard the nomination committee read their recommendations for district.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that this report be put into nomination and approved as our slate to go to district convention.
We have a motion to accept as read. And a second.
Real quickly.
Understand that this is accepting nomination.
Right. This is to accept the nominating committee's report. All those in favor of accepting the nominating committee's report, not the delegates, but the nominating committee's report, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Just as you did before. Anybody that did.
All right, we're going to open the floor now for nominations for substitutions. Please tell me who would like to substitute and who would like to put in their place.
My name's Shelby Barker. I'm a delegate on there, but I'd like to switch mine with Joe Cannon. He's an alternate.
Okay.
Shelby, you want to be an alternate, but Joe in your place is the delegate, correct?
We have a motion by one of the delegates to be substituted, Shelby Barker, with Joe Cannon as a delegate to the district. And Shelby will become a alternate. we have a second? Are there any other nominations from the floor?
Move to close nominations. Mr. Chairman, point of personal privilege, I'd like to amend my original motion to be identical to Mr. Barker's motion.
Okay, the
So
motion,
the slate that I put in nomination would be the nominating committee's report with the.
we've already voted on that. We can't do that. We have to now.
We accepted it, but I mean,
But-
nonetheless, I
Call-
would withdraw my amendment. I would speak in support of Mr. Barker's, the slate that I would like, I feel my friends can approve is the one that switches shall be.
So make a motion for the new slate.
I make a motion that slate B be adopted.
So we have a motion that the slate be adopted as presented with the substitution. And a second. We have a call to the question?
Call question.
Question has been called. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The district slate has been passed. We're now up for state.
At the state, we get 41 delegates. Michael Midas, Jan Martin, David Stover, Luke Large, Linda Mink, Brant Frost V, Mike Crane, Deborah Camp, Shelby Peterson, Brian Cockrum, Rodney Robinson, Krista Frost, James Camp, Catherine Stover, Brant Frost IV, Shelby Barker, Keith Tompkins, Georgia Hunter, William Wolf, Kimberly Hanna, Brian Gallant, Hank Ashmore, Andrew Feckroy, Catherine Frost, Annette Jansen, Marcus Stewart, Peter Jansen, Robin Stewart, Brian Graffis, Benjamin Parsons, Stan Martin, Lauren Carrico, Helen Sherman, Chris Owen, Ed Stone, Jan Horn, Chelsea Sherman, Dustin Carrico, Pam Frazier, Michael Owens, and Steve Frazier. Alternates to the state: Roger Fuller, Charlotte Stevenson, John Stevenson, Hank Ashmore, Joe Beeman, Russell Bradley, Anita Headley, Emma Hinesley, William Headley, Joe Kanan, Gene Keller, Mike Madlam, Angie Moore, Laura Lee Newsom, Pamela Noah, Larry Prather, Donna Prather, and Andrew Feckroy.
We have the nominations from the nominating committee. We have a motion to be accepted as read.
So moved.
I'm a delegate and an alternate
On the state.
on the state.
Sounded like. Okay, hold on.
Hold on while we verify.
So is Andrew Becker.
Yeah. Andrew, I have Andrew, and y'all might remember from last time, but I have Andrew and Hank both as alternates. I don't, if I call them twice, it was my mistake, because I have both as alternates.
Am I an alternate or?
No, I don't. You're correct, Hank. You are as a delegate. You're correct.
The state, right?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. No, I don't have to be on it, except just make it an alternate.
Okay, we removed Hank as an alternate. He's a delegate. We have a motion and a second to accept the slate as nominated.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make one amendment and add Glenn Marshall on as an alternate, if I may. Glenn is the president willing to go.
I have a motion and a second to add Lynn Marshall onto the slate as an alternate to state in the second. Okay. If anyone else wants to go, there are some more spaces available as alternates. Is anyone else interested? All right. We have an amendment. Okay. All right. We're going to vote on the slate as presented with the amendment added. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. District and state has been filled, as well as the county committee. Now we have a reading of the report from the resolutions committee. Jim Camp, come on up to the stage, Jim. There's no mic right there.
Thank you, David. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for making the effort to come out today and express your freedoms and to make your voices heard, because without this, we have nothing. As chairman of the resolution committee, I would like to express how important the resolutions are that we pass on to the district and the state. Because without the resolutions, there is no understanding at the district and the state level of the feelings of the people at the lowest level of the grassroots, which is the precinct levels. And this is exactly where it all starts, with the resolutions. And first of all, I'd like to thank the people who served on the committee, Nancy Olson, Rodney Robinson, and Shelby Peterson. Their input was very, very extensive and very good in helping me to make my proposals to them. This year we had 6 proposals for resolutions passed or given to the resolution committee. And I won't burden everyone reading through these. They are basically these 5 points or 6 points. One we tabled because it's been introduced before, and I think everyone knows where they stand at this point, and the state knows where we stand on the issue of Sharia law and laws that are written by the state of Georgia, for the state of Georgia. The number one, or the first resolution, was nullification of Obamacare. And if you're unaware of a nullification, that is where our state legislature has the ability to say, we're not going to accept Obamacare, and we're going to nullify the laws and set our own laws in the state to take care of the health of the people and the citizens of the state. The second one is Common Core. Common Core, for those who may have not had a briefing on it, is where the federal government is mandating curriculums and other mandatory requirements that all schools provide this education by the guidelines of the federal government to get any funding from the Department of Education. And we are staunchly against that and support that resolution. The third one is a resolution for fairness, also known as the caucus form of electing our officials. And it starts in looking back at other parts of the country that use a caucus rather than a primary for an election. The cost of a primary excludes so many people from even entering the race because it requires committing funds that people privately do not have. Whereas the caucus form of electing a candidate from a party starts at the precinct levels. And the Republican Party or the Democratic Party nominates their candidate, who then goes on to the general election or the general election to be elected as that person to represent that community or that particular district or whatever. And we're calling it the resolution for enactment of big party. resolution for fairness, also known as the caucus amendment to the laws of Georgia. The third one, or the fourth one, I beg your pardon, was the one we tabled. It was a resolution for enactment of Georgia laws, referring back to the Sharia, I guess the use of Sharia law rather than the state laws and the laws of our land to determine what is decided by judges. All right, the fifth resolution was the voucher system, where students are given a voucher and their parents choose where they go to school. And we feel like that is something that still needs to be addressed. It hasn't been put to bed. It has never been given a chance on the floor of the Georgia House of Representatives or the Senate to be heard. And last but not least is one that's dear to my heart. It's the fair tax model for the tax code of Georgia. And I know we continue to beat the drum, but someday the people will hear it. And this is a tax code for Georgia, not the federal fair tax, but the tax code for Georgia, to where everyone participates in funding our government and has a part in contributing to the success of our government in the state of Georgia. So I entertain a motion from the floor, and if I have a motion that we accept these resolutions. All right. First, do we have discussion? Okay. I'm going to give it back to the chairman. Let him do it. Here you go, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. First, we have to accept the report of the Resolutions Committee. We have a motion to accept the report as given. Motion. I have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Recognize Mr. Midas. Mike, you're going to have to take the microphone, sir.
As a third year here at a Republican convention at the Coweta County, I would like to first of all know who put the resolution in for Sharia law. Because somebody has to put a resolution in right there. You did, Linda? Then I would like to make a move to table that particular law. A whole country, the Constitution has been trampled, discarded, and everything else, from the top, the president, all the way down. And now by tabling that, that's putting me in a position to say, hey, even the Republican Party at the Coweta County level's afraid to put. I read that one that you wrote. Beautiful. Names on it, this. So your beautiful resolution, Linda. And for this thing to be tabled at that, I'd ask them to reconsider that.
Am I allowed to call the question or discussion?
I believe Mr. Midas wants to.
What we have is Mr. Midas would like to reintroduce the Sharia law resolution. Jim Camp, or are you?
Here.
They would like to know the reason for removing it.
The reason why it was tabled?
Yes.
Because we've addressed it last year and at the district, as well as it's pretty well known that we don't get Sharia law. We addressed it last year in this district, and you canceled it. I have people in the district, 3-0 vote, and we put it in the state, and the state accepted it. The state resolution committee of 14 people, which Brent was a part of. And I think at the state convention, one more thing, Brent. At that state convention, I never seen 2,000 delegates get so excited about something.
Amen.
When they said no Sharia law, because it's the first time you hear somebody that has the guts to say it. Sharia law wants to replace our Constitution.
Amen.
It's incompatible. We say we believe in the Constitution, and we're tabling it at the lowest level. They're tabling it all over Washington, that's all.
We've had a right to life plank in our platform for nearly 40 years, and abortion is still legal, so you gotta keep hammering it. If the committee doesn't have an objection, I would move we accept the report, bringing. We amend it?
Okay, we will first have to have someone withdraw their motion to accept the report as read. Right, I believe you made that motion,
I
right?
withdraw that motion.
Is that who made it, Wendy? Okay.
Then I'd like to make a new motion that the committee is not in objection, that I make a motion that we accept all 6 resolutions, including the one that was originally.
Excuse me, point of order.
Yes.
He has withdrawn his first
motion.
motion. This other gentleman made the motion.
Oh.
You have to first have him withdraw, ask that, she knows that.
Yeah. Well, we got it.
He was out of order as far as.
Yeah,
making
he was
the
out of
motion.
order with his motion because we
Because
already had a
we already
motion on
had
the
the
table.
vote.
So it was already there. Mike, would you like to make a motion, or someone like to make a motion to add the Sharia law
I
back
make a
in?
motion that this county convention, and all the Republicans sitting here, ask that it take it from retable and put it on a resolution and pass it up the line.
Do we have a second? Have a motion and a second? Does anyone call the question?
I'd like to make a discussion on this question. Okay, the state of Georgia has said and already passed the resolution one time. If we pass it up again, they're just going to turn it down. But, notwithstanding, and I don't want to get any controversy going, but we can't keep passing these resolutions. You want to do it every year, we'll do it every year.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just so everyone knows, resolutions are independently submitted at each level. So bear that in mind.
And I would like to add to that I was part of a group of people from Coweta County and all over the state that when this bill came up last year in the House, we attended the hearings to be there available for public comment if the committees, the House Rep committees wanted to hear our comment. The legislation passed out of the House. It passed through the Rules Committee and on to the Senate. We had the votes, and we showed up, but we had the votes in the Senate. And the morning that this bill came up for a vote, David Ralston walked to the floor, pulled the bill off of the agenda, would not allow it to come to a vote. Additionally, this year's General Assembly, 2013, we have polled every legislator on the House and the Senate floor trying to get this bill reintroduced to protect Georgia laws based on Georgia courts based on American laws. David Ralston has admonished and threatened every House and Senate member in the Georgia General Assembly that anybody that tries to bring this legislation in front of the House or the Senate again is going to be punished. Now, we have got, as Mike said, I don't care how many times we have to bring this thing up. We're going to keep bringing it up and screaming about it until we get it passed.
The question has been called. Pardon?
Is this a little discussion here?
The question has been called. We have to take the vote now. We've added it back into the resolution, so it is now.
Let me just say, I disagree with the third point that you was talking about the voting.
I don't order it right now. Yeah. The question has been called. We have to take a vote on this. All right. Everyone in favor of adopting the resolutions as presented with the addition amended of the resolution for enactment of Georgia laws, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Resolutions are passed. Is there any other business that anyone would like to bring up before the convention?
If I may, to announce the straw poll results.
Okay, we have the straw poll results, and if there's no other business after that, we will adjourn. If there is a motion to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the straw poll results that were taken, there was for Jack Kingston, 2%, for Karen Handel, 6%, for Phil Gingrey, 20%, for Paul Brown, 67%. And there was one vote for other, for U.S. Senator, our own state Senator, Mike Crane.
We shouldn't give Mike that slip of paper. Is there any other business that needs to be brought up before the convention?
I move we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion to adjourn in a second. Do we have a call for the question? Question has been called. All those in favor of adjourning say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay.